Hi, I Shubham Singh Thakur with my teammates Janvi Agrawal, Meg Pandey, Urja Rampal, Sarosh Iman have made a detailed feasibility report on Navi Mumbai International Airport. We have covered the following topics under our report, that is project description, technical feasibility, financial feasibility and environmental appraisal. Starting with the project description. The Navi Mumbai International Airport is being built by CIDCO, that is City and Industrial Development Corporation of Maharashtra. It will serve as the parallel international airport with existing Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport. Navi Mumbai International Airport is located in Navi Mumbai near Ulve Node in Palvel Taluka in the Raigad district of Maharashtra. The project entails the construction of an international airport with a minimum capacity of 60 million passengers per annum and 1.5 million tons of cargo per annum.
So today I will be talking about the technical feasibility of the NMIA or the Navi Mumbai International Airport. So your technical feasibility basically helps with executing of large projects, and also it gives you significant insights to help you meet your project goals, which can be really crucial. So, technical feasibility has a lot of different subcategories inside it. Our study focuses on these three, which are your demand analysis, your capacity planning, and technical requirement. So now moving on to the next slide, I'll talk a bit about the demand analysis part of it. So as you can see here, the traffic forecast for your MMR or your Mumbai metropolitan region shows that by 2028 there will be 100 million passengers per annum or MPPA, and by 2045 there will be 200 million passengers per annum. Now that is a very huge number. So as you know, we already have Chhatrapati Shivaji Airport in Mumbai in Andheri, which is an international airport. So this is going to be India's first dual airport system ever. And what this will help is that as we spoke about in this slide, that by 2045 there are going to be 200 million passengers. We need It'll be very challenging for Chhatrapati Shivaji Airport to just be that one international airport. So we need two airports to help with that and not cause any congestion. So that is a basic idea. And because the demand is increasing so much with the population increasing and Mumbai being one of the biggest metropolitan cities in India, we conceptualize of having a second airport, which is your NMIA, sorry. So with that, I will show you a graph which represents the same. So in this graph, the MMR aggregate passenger forecast graph, as you can see, by 2050, the number of domestic passengers, which is the blue line, you can see that is going to reach an all-time high, with your international passengers also peaking in the red line. So the demand and the overall passengers are going to be so huge that just one airport is not going to suffice. That is why, due to such a rise in demand, the option of having a second airport is so important. Now, to talk about the next few slides, I will have Urja taking it up.
Coming to capacity planning, the Navi Mumbai International Airport is set to be built on a 2,054 hectare site featuring parallel independent runways, allowing simultaneous and independent operations, as well as a full-length taxiways on both sides of the runways. The airfield will be designed to accommodate the new large aircraft A380. The airport site is large enough to accommodate a two-runway system and is close to the major transportation corridors. The site has an excellent railway connection, which would be enhanced by branches connecting directly to the airport's current lines. On the right side, we can see the map, wherein the yellow region is the Navi Mumbai region and the red dot marked on it is the location of the airport. And the green region is the city of Mumbai, and the red dot on it is the location of the current airport, which is the Chhatrapati Shivaji Airport. Next slide. Zones. The Navi Mumbai International Airport has been planned in two zones, and that is described as airside zone, that comprises of airfield with runways, taxiways, aircraft parking aprons, passenger terminals with the passenger processing, retail facilities, cargo with its airside warehousing, processing facilities, and other complementary activities. Landside. This includes the landside sections on the western, northern, and eastern sides of the airport, as well as the terminal forecourts and numerous passenger airport user and stakeholder amenities. On to the next slide, please. Now, the technical requirements. The construction material required for the construction of the four functional areas, that is airfield, terminal, landside, and cargo, are given in the following table, which includes cement, steel, sand, metal, glass, aluminium, and asphalt. Their quantities and the companies providing these materials are given in the following table. Please have a look at it. Now over to Janvi for the financial feasibility.
The financial feasibility plan analysis was done by the method of discounted cash flow, where the costs and income of future years were estimated and discounted to calculate the present value. The plan has been divided into 4 phases, and certain assumptions have been made in order to calculate the value of costs and revenues. Next slide, please. The number of departing passengers and aircraft landings are defined using the LPG traffic forecast prepared in April 2009. The sum of revenues per landing aircraft and embarkation fees are calculated based on the current tariffs applied by CSIA. The current tariffs are maintained constant in real terms over the 30-year period. Most non-aeronautical revenues were estimated by calculating ratios between actual revenues, terminal size, and traffic level from CSIA. These were then projected towards the future using various growth assumptions developed by them with similar airports at other locations. Commercial activities have also been a significant source of revenues in major international airports around the world. One of the factors that has boosted commercial activities in the airports is the increased participation in private sector in the airport admin. In recent years, and under the management of both public and private sector, airports have demonstrated the capacity to generate additional earnings, particularly through the commercial activities. So the first phase includes a lot of one-time costs and fixed costs, which will not be required in other phases, making it the most expensive phase of 49 billion INR. Next slide, please. The second phase includes airside works, landside works, and terminal building costs and land costs, making it a total of $21 billion. With every phase, the project cost is reducing. Next slide, please. The total cost in the third phase is around 18 billion INR, which includes airside works, landside works, terminal and other building costs, and some non-aeronautical areas. And the cost has reduced from 21 billion INR to 18 billion INR. Next slide, please. The fourth and the last phase has the least cost of 6 billion INR, which only includes landside costs and terminal value costs. Next slide, please. To ascertain the commercial feasibility of this plan, the NPV has been calculated at the rate of 12% cost of capital, and and the present value has been calculated, and the final IRR of all the four scenarios is greater than 12%, which makes all the four phases feasible. Now Shubham would continue.
So after doing a detailed technical analysis followed by the financial feasibility analysis, we now move on to a very important analysis of any project, that is environmental appraisal. Here we will begin with the understanding the land use patterns for the project site and further conduct an environmental viability analysis followed by the environmental impact analysis. So these analyses will be taken forward by Sarosh Iman.
So we'll begin the environmental appraisal with by understanding the local land use pattern for this project. Now this project site has been divided into different zones to better utilize the land that is available for this project. First is a no development zone where there will not be any development whatsoever. Second is airport and allied services zone, where everything related to the airport and the services of the airport will take place. Third is a modified commercial zone, where all cargo and commercial activity relating to the airport will take place. And finally, there is a modified residential zone, where the residents surrounding the airport will be present. Moving on to environmental viability analysis. Now, why we are doing this analysis is to better understand how viable this project is, looking at the environment that is surrounding the project and the impact that the environment will have on this project. We begin with flood risk analysis. Now, the drainage master plan of the NMIA project has been done keeping in consideration the worst case scenarios that can take place in the next 100 years. Moving on to seismic stability. Now, Navi Mumbai falls in zone 3 of the seismic standard, which is a moderate risk zone. Moving on to land use and coverage. So, the study area for this project site is of 10 kilometers surrounding the project site, which features hilly areas, forests, and a mix of urban and rural areas. Now, lastly, the water environment. So the two main rivers surrounding this project site is the Gadhi River and the Kalundri River. Moving on to environmental impact analysis. Now, in the previous slide, we understood what impact the environment will have on the project. But at the same time, it's very important and imperative for us to understand what impact will this project have on the surrounding environment. So the NMIA project requires alterations to be made to the surrounding environment. The beginning with the recoursing of Ulve River. So the recoursing of Ulve River by SIDCO has been a very important part of the airport development project. Earlier, the Ulve River used to flow in the north to south direction. That has now been changed to east to west direction to suit the needs of the project. Now, a project of this scale also requires something very important. That is relocation of the households that were previously there on this project land, which has now been acquired by the NMIA project. So around 3,113 households need to be rehabilitated somewhere else. And current progress on this is that SIDCO has already acquired and developed the land required for the rehabilitation of these households. And as on 11th June 2021, 2,562 structures have already been demolished, and out of which 2,370 households have already been given possession.